Hi, today I'm going to show you the web application development system I call Summit. A web application development system is a tool for building web applications. What is a web application? Well, you've seen websites, website builders are 10 a penny. You can use Microsoft Word, whatever you want. You can generate an HTML page and put it on your web server. A web application, though, is something that interacts with you. It does stuff. It can store things in a database. It does work. So to that end, I've built the Summit application system for building web applications. The Summit system itself is a web application. It runs in the web browser. I can do web application development anywhere in the world via a simple tool like a tablet or a Chromebook or a full PC using this system. So let's log in and take a look. So I'm logging into the application system for building web applications. In here I see a list of applications that I've built with the system, in fact 2 pages worth of them. A web application is, like many other websites, it's built up of pages. On the pages we have regions, and within regions we have elements or controls. We have the display here, we have text boxes, we have buttons that do stuff, and reports. You can put pictures in here. Anything that you can put on a web page or build, you can do using this tool. Let's take a look at one I've been playing with, disaster recovery. Take a look at this application. Right, so an application is, at the top level, it's made up of some basic stuff. It has a name, it has a database that it's looking at to store its information, has a style, and it has a page that it's going to launch when you launch the application, and a couple of bits of other info. So it has a page. Well, it's made up of pages, the next thing. So I have a login page and a map page. And then it has users who are entitled to use the system. Well, this system I've built without security. I don't need to do a login. So the login page itself is pretty rudimentary. So the real work is on the map page. So let's run the application and take a look at it. The way you run an application is just like any other website you go to. You just enter the URL up here to launch it. Well, that's if I want to run it as production. I'm in the development environment. I'm going to run it as the developer. And I'm going to press a button over here to run it instead. So when I run it, it goes to its default login page. I actually have nothing on here. This is what comes out of the box when I say give me a new application, a rudimentary login page. So I have no authentication on here. So if I log in, now it jumps me to the real page. I can bypass that. I can delete that page and change the page to go straight to this page if I wanted to. Okay, so what we're looking at is a web application. It's made up of regions. So I've got 3 regions, the map region, the locations region, and the events region, which is a report, a form. Actually, this one is a mixture of a form. It has other fields in here. Okay, so as I change it, it's re-rendering the map control also. The map can resize. What this map is actually is a plugin from Google. So not only can I have controls, buttons and things, and you know, date filters, that kind of stuff, I can also incorporate anything that you can put onto the web can go into this tool. Now, one of the cool things about me running it through the IDE itself is that I get an extra toolbar down here that you won't receive when you're running it as a production. I can actually jump to the page itself by editing the page. I can switch on debugging, and I can look at the current session state of what's going on in memory. So let's edit the page. Take a look at this particular page. Well, as I said, there were 3 regions on the page. And we can see the regions over here, a map region, a locations region, and the events region, which was a report. The page itself has some stuff wrapped around it. It has some style tags in the header, which go beyond, you know, a style sheet that I can also attach. This is purely the header. So within the page header, I have style. I have some JavaScript functions. You can also do pre-processing and post-processing. This is where I can add some scripting logic that will execute, you know, before the page renders and after the page is submitted. And some other stuff where I can require re-authentication, you know, reposting of the page, whether the page is cached in memory. Okay, so let's take a look at a report. Well, no, let's take a look at the locations form. Okay, so this one is made up of elements. So a region is made up of elements. And there's lots of ones on here: a label, a text box, another label, a text area, which is a multi-line text box, another label, a select list, the drop-down list of options, lots of different things. The region itself can have pre-processing and post-processing. So as the page renders, it can execute the logic in here, or it can execute the logic on posting back of the page. So let's take a look in here. So it does highlighting of code. When I submit the page, it executes this logic. It actually goes off to Google, runs a service, checks that the address that I entered is a good address. On receipt of that information coming back, it has the latitude and longitude, which it can then plot on the map. Okay. So let's take a look at an element now. So let's take a look at the select list, how those are achieved. So a select list, in an element, I can choose from lots of different types of elements that are that come with the system. I intend to build more of these types of element, but there's plenty of different types of controls. You have buttons, checkboxes, date controls, display, which is just labels, a text editor, a file uploader, a hidden image, an actual image, a line, a link, password, anything you can think of. I pretty much got in here with the rudimentary controls that you can build any website out of. Everything that Summit itself is using is in this list. Okay, so this select list is a hard-coded list. So I have a key and the value that's displayed. Key, value, key, value, key, value. I can actually change this to be any one of these other items. So I can actually have a SQL select statement in here. For those of you that know SQL, I can select star from blah, 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 my table. So I can actually utilize the table in the system to retrieve information. So let's add another one here just to see this. A is for Apple. Submit that and run the page. So it didn't render here, right? The reason it didn't render is because I changed on the coding for that element. I changed it to select statement, SQL statement. But that wasn't a SQL statement, it's a hard-coded list. So let's put debug on, see it a different way. You see now that we have a handle here. If I press it, I can go jump straight to that control and modify it. So I changed that to SQL by mistake. I should have left it as a list. And submit the page. And let's run the page again. And there we go. And A is for Apple in the order that I entered them. Alright, that's how easy it is to make modifications to the system. Real time, see the changes. Report regions. As a default, the report regions also come with some, sorting. Actually, let's do all, so we can actually do some sorting on here. Sort by latitude and longitude. Okay, so you see that information. We can export as PDF, export as XLS, XML, CSV, all standard out of the box. So here's our CSV file, click on it, boom, there's the data. So I can now import that into an Excel spreadsheet or whatever you want to do into another database, however you want to crunch this information. Okay, so that's enough of this application. Let's create a new application from scratch. So let's go to edit page and let's go back to the top. So a common problem that businesses have is they have lots of Excel spreadsheets floating around. And sharing those via email and stuff just leads to confusion. No one knows who updated what last and all that stuff. Well, why don't we just put them as a website where everyone can get at them? So let's do that. I have an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so here's an Excel spreadsheet. It contains, on this sheet, a lot of people. So ID, first name, last name, company, email, blah, blah, blah. On this sheet, a few cars. On this sheet, some fruit. Let's come back to cars and add another one. For BMW X5, and save that sheet. Close it. Now I'm going to create a new application. I can either create one from scratch, calling it what I want, and say add, or I can use a wizard. I'm going to call this one today's test. I'm going to choose my Excel spreadsheet. Go. Applications, and here it is, my new application, today's test. Let's take a look at it. So it created a login page, as it always does. It created a menu for the subsequent pages that are each sheet of the spreadsheet. If I look at the sheet, it contains two regions. It contains a form and a report. The form is for manipulating the entries, and a report is for displaying them all. Let's go back to the application. Well, I'm not going to put any logic into the authentication, so we can just run the thing. It's going to go straight to page 10. As I said, it's the out of the can login page, but when I log in, I get to my menu page. Again, not very inspiring, but hey, we did this in 2 seconds. Let's take a look at fruit. Boom. So here's the fruit. Edit. Let's change grapes to a single grape. Update. Done. Let's go back to the menu and let's go to the cars. There's that BMW X5 we just did. And let's change it to a 3 Series. Okay, updated. So let's add a new one so it clears out the ID, and I'm going to have an M6 big boy. Add. So now I have the 3 Series and an M6. I added a new one. Okay, that's how easy it is. We have now put a spreadsheet on the web that anyone can access anywhere in the world, and you can access it via your cell phone, you can access it via your tablet, whatever you want to do. That is what is so cool about the Summit web application system. It's an actual application. We can do real work with it. Okay, hope you like it. Thanks very much.